True simplicity is, well, you just keep on going and going until you get to the point where you go, yeah, well, of course, where there's no rational alternative. Jonathan Ive. My friends, that's what we try to get you to do each and every day as you work through these issues, as you watch the charts move back and forth. You practice trade, practice trade, practice trade until you realize, yes, well, of course, this is the way it works. If you will just follow what we teach here, practice trade, it doesn't cost you anything, but we say 10 to 15 minutes each and every day. You have to do it each and every day, otherwise you will not learn the nuances of how the market works. For example, when people say, oh, why don't you just continue with the move after you've garnered twice your ATR, your average true range? Well, we could have continued that move, then it bumped up. It would have bumped us up a little bit higher than where we got out. But again, well, actually a little lower since we're on a downtrend. It would have popped up on us. Would have made a little bit more money, but would have broken our rules. And as you'll see, if you do this every day, you'll learn over and over again that the rules work. After it bumped up, it started moving down again. If you said, oh, since it's already red, and since it went green, I'll jump back into the red. Well, of course, you would have gotten in here. And then, of course, when it turned green on you, it would have closed considerably above where you would have gotten in. And again, what would that do? That would give you a nice loss there. If you're not doing the practice trading, doing the training, you're not going to learn the nuances of why things work, how they do. And again, if you'll just do it each and every day, 10 to 15 minutes, do all the practice trades you can. Add in your favorite stocks and ETFs. Follow those. Make sure they're trackable. And again, do the backtracking on them and then practice trade them and see if they're actual tradable stocks and ETFs. Some are, some aren't. And you've got to learn the personalities of the stocks and the ETFs that you are interested in. Now, let's see what went on with these charts today. Bitcoin, gold, stocks are up. Bonds, the only thing that's down. We can see now we have cleared this center area. Nice up movement for the day, 3.10%. I'm happy to see it go up as much as it wants. Why? Because we already took our 3.7%. We're waiting for things to reset for another potential down move. Now we see we're still well below the 200 EMA on the half-day chart. What about the 2-day? 2-day is still red. We have a green spinning top, means indecision that's forming there. Again, can just as easily go back in our direction. And we see on the weekly, we had touched the 200 EMA. We've now come off of that. Are we going to start in a grand up move again? That's possible, but right now, the STC is still in a confirmed down move. So let's see where these charts take us. We are, of course, waiting for what? Well, since we're already poised at a minus 14 when our success multiplier formula with the 2-day and the weekly in down moves, we are simply waiting for the half day to rotate back over to go from green on the STC to red. That will initiate our next trade at what? A 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio. What do we set our risk and reward at? Well, we set the risk at 1 time the ATR, and we have the ATR displayed on our screen. And of course, you can see where it was on that prior move, 7.22. In fact, we've set it at 7.25, and again at 14.5 on our getting out point, 14.5, 7.25. Yes, that's what we set it at, and that worked for us. Now, what will we do here? Well, we'll wait and see what the ATR is. Right now, it's at 7.49. What is the average true range? Just what it says. It's a 14-period moving average, and it is based on what? It's based on the average range during that period. During 14 of those periods, add them up, divide them by 14, that's what you get the average true range. Why does that work so well? Because it's taking into consideration over the prior 14 periods how much things moved in the market. Is it perfect? No, nothing is, but it shows us where price movement was in those 14 prior periods to when we initiate hour move. So over and over again, we find out if you practice trade it, that it's a pretty darn good way to help you set a loss band and a profit band. Now, let's jump on and keep seeing where things are going. Let's see what's happening with the Qs, up for the day 3.14%. Again, it has reset also up to the top on the green. When we look at the 2-day, we can see that the 2-day is still red, almost a doji there, lots of indecision. We look at the weekly, and again, we've almost hit the lows of the prior week. Candle body itself still below the 200 EMA, but retracting somewhat, still red. So again, we're at minus 14. We get 10 points on the red STC on the weekly, 4 points from the 2-day. And we're just waiting for a total of 15 when and if the half-day chart rotates back over to going down. Simple, works like a charm. Does it work every time? No, nothing does. It's a dynamic marketplace. You can't win every single trade, but if you apply the success multiplier, if you apply the always winning technique, you will find over and over again, if you just try it and practice trade it, see how it works for you, you will be amazed. Let's move on. We'll see where we are with bonds. Down for the day, 0.28%. Hoping to see things rotate over, heading down on bonds. That may happen. We see where things lost some energy at the end of the day. They've been sliding sideways for a while. I'm ready for that to go to red to give us the opportunity to jump into a down move. We shall wait, watch, and see if that sets itself up for us. Now, let's just continue to keep an eye on things and see how they go. We look at where things are on the 2-day. It is still red. We got a green spinning top there on this latest 2-day candle. And we can see where things have retracted a bit. They really bottomed out this last week, not down that far this week. We'll just wait and see how things move. Again, just like with stocks, we are waiting to see if we're going to go from green to red on the STC and give us the ability to initiate a down move. May or may not occur. If it does, great. If it doesn't, that's fine too. We let the markets lead us. What about gold? Oh man, gold looks like it's catching some fire. We're waiting for it to move above the 200 EMA. We're still below that. So we're still in short territory. You might be saying, but Tom, we could have written all this up. Well, that's not the rules we go by. We go by what? We go by whether we are above the 200 EMA or below it. If we're below the 200 EMA, we're looking, and that's exponential moving average, 200 period. We are looking for what? We are looking for down moves. We press through this, then of course we will be looking for up moves, up 1.43% for the day. Where are we on the 2-day? Now this is interesting. 2-day going over to green itself on this latest 2-day candle. It too is below the 200 EMA, so we're not initiating an up trade, but we are watching with bated breath. What about the weekly? We saw where gold last week had cleared below the 200 EMA, and now the wick is pushing above it. Gold may be trying to push back above on the weekly. That'd be a good sign. We look at where we are on the STC. It is still negative candle, not above it yet, but that wick sure is. So maybe we got some good news. I've told you guys how much I've wanted to go long in gold. Of course, when things tried last time on gold, what did they do? Went up for 2 weeks and then hammered down. So we'll see. Again, all the charts all the time. That's where we are on gold. Lastly, we go to Bitcoin. Bitcoin up for the day quite nicely, 3.99%. And again, we are waiting for Bitcoin to hopefully it has bottomed here around this 1820 mark or so. You'll see that on the bigger charts as we move along. But hopefully Bitcoin will be moving up through the 200 EMA. Of course, we've seen a few times where Bitcoin's tried to move up only to crash down again. But at some point, I'm hoping it's going to take off like crazy. Look at the 2-day. It's in the green, but we're not holding that to account for much of anything, as we've seen Bitcoin crash, pop up, crash again, pop up, crash again. Now it's trying to move up some, but really just sideways on this bigger chart. But again, around that 1820 mark, we look at the weekly chart. Where is it? Of course, the weekly too, right there around that 1820 mark. What do we have for the week? Just a green spinning top, a little green spinning top. We've had bigger weeks lately. This is not a big one. But again, we'll watch, wait, and see. We're ready for Bitcoin to take off, ready for gold to take off, ready for stocks and bonds to crash more. Whatever the charts tell us to do, we do. You can't force the market. You got to follow it. Always love to hear from you folks. cw@chartingwealth.com. God bless my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.